Yo. What's up? It's time to get it. Welcome, players and pimps, ladies and gents, TWT family, LDBC, and everybody else that's rocking with us. Hey, baby, it's Saturday. Welcome to the ColdCrush Lounge. With your host, well, at least one. I'm 1/3 of the three hosts. Yours truly, Mr. PSA. Crush the mother in legend, baby, in the house. Welcome, good morning, good afternoon, wherever the time is where you at. Well, this is an anticipated ColdCrush Lounge, and we're going to get into it in a few minutes, and we get the fam up here. We're going to get the cooking, baby. We're going to get the cooking. Everybody, as y'all come in, man, press the like button. Let me know how y'all feeling right now. Roll up, pour it in your cup, do what you got to do. We talking hip-hop 90s, baby. Hey, one of the greatest eras of all music. And we definitely talking about one right now, which is hip-hop, which is coined and engraved as the golden era of hip-hop. The 90s hip-hop. Whoever thought that the 90s would surpass the 80s? Some of us give the 80s credit for birthing the 90s. And if that's your thought on that, you are right. But then we have some that wasn't created and molded in the 80s, but they came out the doors in the 90s doing a bang. There's so many to talk about, so much to go through. We gonna be here going off. I'm about to bring in my co-hosts, DP Rocker and BC Corbett. Panel will be open for the fanboy because I know everybody want to chime in on the hip-hop 90s, man. The best era of hip-hop, and like I said, the golden age era of all music. And we're going to be covering a whole lot of more music, baby. We just that diverse. You hear me? So with that being said, hold on, man. Let me go ahead and drop the link, man, so I can get the fanboy up in here, man, and we get to doing what it's doing. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to everybody that's in the building right now. Brother G5 Gate, DP Rocker. Hold on, y'all. I'm going to get right back to it. Give me a sec. Let me see. Here we go. How y'all feeling? I know y'all getting ready for these fights to come on. Y'all better be everybody got the, who's going to win this fight. There it is. The link is right there. I still got better be winning this fight, goddammit. I got him winning this fight. Should be a good fight. If Yard win, salute. I would rather see Yard win, but I'm favoring Better B. You know what I mean? But shit, we ain't doing too much goddamn boxing talk this morning. Yes, where's my co-host at? DP Rocker, BC Corbett, where y'all at? Anybody? G5 is right there. My brothers keep in the building. TWT in the building, baby. Let's get up here. Let's get to talking this good old 90s hip-hop. Oh, man. Yeah, share this out. I know some of the fans all over the place checking out the boxing shit and all that. For those who here, come and enjoy, baby. Come and enjoy. Do what you got to do. Do what you got to do, man. Drinking strawberry? Okay. All right. See, Rod drinking some strawberry. Well, I'm about to roll up some of this shit right here. I got a little gassy gas for the occasion, and hope it is a good persuasion for you to come on in here and get stimulated as we talk about this 90s hip-hop. DP Rocker was taking you so goddamn long. Oh, okay, I see you right there, my bad fanbo. Let me get my brother up in here, my co-host with the co-most, the second third of the 3/3. You understand what I'm saying? There he is. He's in the building. DP Rocker, Mr. Rock you, knock you right out your damn socks. What's going on, bro? What's popping?
What's going on with it, dog?
Oh, nothing, man. We ready to get this good old cook going on. Talking this hip hop 90s, man. I found the nice little good enough thumbnail. I think that was a good attraction because of all those albums and the artists that dropped in the 90s, man. We gonna go nuts up in this joint. I think this might be the discussion of the night. I think this is gonna be better than goddamn for the final. This is gonna be a better cook than the fights. No disrespect to the fights, respectfully, but we gonna cook on another level, baby. You already know. Music over everything right now, baby. You see what I'm saying? And even every sport. has adapted and took along some sort of music from way back in the beginning, from jazz. You know, back then, you know, a lot of the fighters in the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and even somewhat to the 60s, the early 70s, yeah, they was coming out the jazz musicians. So it ain't nothing new when these guys coming out the hip hop artists and things like that. It been going down since back in the day, before my day and your daddy day, and that's how I've been every day to this day. You know what I mean? DP Rocket, man, you gonna shout out, say something to everybody out there before you go ahead and cook, bro. We got
Yeah.
PGH, Big Dog, Pittsburgh in the building. Yes, my Pennsylvania brother.
PGH, what's up?
Right next door. What's up,
Facts.
DP, man? What's going on, man? Let's get this thing rocking, DP. You are the co-host with the co-most. You can start it from anywhere you like to start the discussion for, because we all here for that. Anybody else that want to jump up, you better grab that stream while it's there, baby, because it's going to come with the breeze and be going with the wind. Let's get it, DP. You are the man, so go ahead. The floor is yours and take it away.
Shit, bro. You know what it is, man. I just, for me, we talked last week about the influence of hip hop. You was in this, in the industry. You seen what it was for itself.
Right.
Me, I was coming up, as a younger man, and I just seen the influence that it had, and that's what I want to stick with right now. The influence. Now you can remember probably like 89, 90. It started coming out. The Fab Five. I'm going to stick with basketball right now. The Fab Five, the Michigan Wolverines, they come out 90, 91, rocking the ball heads, the Black Sox, listening to Public Enemy. The scene back then was hip hop was taking over and getting into the college era, which came from the streets already. We all know that. We talked about that. But just the fact that we seen how it started taking over mainstream, and the mainstream started attacking, hip hop artists because of what was doing. Now we see 30 years later, 40 years later, they done jumped on the bandwagon. You know what I'm saying? Now they see what's going on with it. Like, oh, we need to tap into this, hip hop and see what's going on. Yeah. Now the music changed. I mean, of course, we got older. My ears a little older now, so I really don't, know what's going on. But for the 90s era, when I, was in the mix, the beginning of the era right there for me, the lyricists, you have more of them. Nas, Big, Jay-Z, the Wu, we talked about all that. Them brothers like that came out, and when your words had to really matter, you couldn't just say shit on wax and just let it, that shit had to make sense. But for me, cuz the guy who like changed the whole mainstream and the marketing was, Calvin Broadus, aka Snoop Dogg. His album Doggy Style, bro, that Doggy Style album, it did ridiculous numbers, and then you had to, at the time, it was the highest selling album until 50 beat it, years later. But for that's where I seen the whole landscape change right there. You had to top that. You had to come after that, because if you remember, and you was up in the industry back then, the New York scene was kind of dead for a minute. The West Coast was taking over. You know what I'm saying? West Coast was taking over for a minute. And then when Big, Nas, Wu, and then, so the East kind of took it back. So it was kind of a shift of power, which the West was already in there, but Dr. Dre helped push, that out there with the whole Doggy Style thing. I mean, just look at the influence that it had into, white America. Once, they got a hold of it. When you seeing white kids, dressing like Snoop or acting like Snoop or whatever. So that's why I liked it, man. I looked at the influence and everything. I mean, shit, even me, gold teeth, earrings, we all had that influence from that hip hop era. But yeah, it's in the 90s, man. It was, I missed that era. It was something that, I'm telling you, bro, I missed that era. That was the real deal. That was the real deal, bro.
Right. Interesting. So we're going to start this off the way you said. You said we won't go influences before we even get to talking about the artists and when he dropped and when he debuted in the 90s, which is going to get even better as we go on with this discussion. Let's keep it on the influence, because that's where DP wanted to start at, and that's where we're going to rock at. Now, the 90s, you talk about the years of influence and look at the impact that it had. Look at how many influences it had. You know, we
Right.
had so many artists that became influences. Little Kim, I'm gonna start off with Little Kim.
Right.
Yes, Little Kim had everybody, every female who was afraid to try to suck some, to give some head, to who
Right.
was already giving head, wanted to step their head game up. You understand what I'm saying? Or even wanted to get into it. So, you know, Lil Kim, yeah, she influenced girls to go out there and start taking it up the old doo-doo shooting, having extracurricular spontaneous fun and using all sorts of objects and swallowing and coming to its fill until your stomach is filled up with cream filling bubbles and you got to go get your stomach pumped out and this, that, and the other. She changed the style or the way the females was dressing. You know, it brought out the bold in a lot of women. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? She had a lot of females wanting to be sexy because Little Kim, sadly for how she looks right now, ladies and gentlemen, she was a very attractive young lady. She was very beautiful, very beautiful. She didn't need to do anything to herself, but you know,
Right.
it's other things that go into play that led to the reason of Lil Kim doing what she has done to herself. And we'll probably talk about that later on in the segment. You see what I'm saying? Because the 90's is the hottest topic when it comes to this. And she had an impact.
Crush, let me add something on top of that.
Yeah, go ahead, brother
Let me
Cook.
add something on top of that. And not only her impact, yeah, I know Biggie wrote her rhymes, but she could spit with the best of them.
Yeah,
Like
she had a hell of
seriously.
a delivery. Yes.
Like her delivery was like we've never heard anything like her, up until you know what I'm saying? Because we knew the MC Lights, Queen Latifah's, Yo-Yos, they was dope. Don't get me wrong. Kim brought sex appeal to hip hop. She brought the real sex appeal to hip hop, and she used that and marketed. Yeah, I know she had a lot of heat coming back from how she dressed and this and that. But I tell you, she could spit with the best of them.
Yeah,
She was that dope.
she could actually spit. Kim, her delivery, man.
Her delivery was crazy.
And Light was the queen of best deliveries out of the females, and that's giving Light high praise because there's some female MCs or rap recording artists that had dope deliveries like a Bahamadia and a few others. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah. Heather
hip
B.
hop head.
Heather
You said
B.
Heather
Yes.
B and a few they had deliveries, but Little
Yes.
Kim had that delivery. It's like whatever it was. That was like the female version of Biggie. Shout out to Biggie,
Absolutely.
molding her and being an impact on her the way that he was. And I'm gonna keep it at that because we know, he turned out and other things like that. She was madly in love, and there's nothing wrong with that. But look what it created. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
She was a success, and it's just the death of losing Big was a great loss to everyone, especially the ones who was close to him. And things fell apart. She had to start, writing on her own even more. But she could always write. But he did a lot of his shit and even co-wrote. You know what I mean? So she was in on some of her dopest stuff to where Big just didn't write the whole entire song. She did have an input, but that delivery, it was in her. He seen it and it rolled right with her. Perfect chemistry. A female 4'11", 4'10", pretty little something. She's just her beauty alone is wifey material. But
Right.
men that's looking for a modern wife, it might turn you off a little bit because she might not strike you as a woman in the street, a wife and a woman in the street and a freak in the bed. She's more so out there, for the streets and telling the ladies go get it. You see what I'm saying? And
Right.
tax their pockets and all that. And we talking this in a respectful way because we are not here to tear down that because the fact that it was a whole entire impact. There's no reason to try to come down on Lil Kim because there's plenty genres of music that was very, very, very outrageous.
Right.
Huh? And they were saying even
Facts.
worse shit than what they even saying today. So we will get into that when we go into other genres of music. But baby, right here, we talk about 90's. And Lil Kim was one of the most influential bodies in hip hop and even any music genre. She was exactly the same impact that Mary J. Blige had. And they
Ooh,
had to
boy.
treat her as a whole different thing. They call her the queen of hip
Of hip
hop
hop
and
soul.
R&B. Hip hop
Yep.
soul and R&B. And Little Kim
Yep.
was the queen of hip hop. And before that, you know, like Shantae was the queen, even though Light was the lyricist. Like Shantae was Tank Davis. You see what I'm saying? And Light was Devin Haney. Y'all get what I'm saying?
Right. Facts.
Y'all get what I'm saying? We gonna
Absolutely.
cook this, baby. We gonna cook this. And that's how it was. And she definitely was one of the biggest impacts. Another impact, ladies and gentlemen. We gonna move on for Lil Kim. Oh, we gotta go to the Almighty. You think your Tiger Style can defeat me? The
Oh boy.
Wu-Tang Clan. Ladies and
Hey.
gentlemen, one of the biggest influences and trendsetters in music history. DP, you
Hey.
started off, bro. Go ahead. Let me finish rolling this
Hey.
thing up, brother.
Hey. It's a funny story about this, dog. So I got introduced from the Wu because when I first heard about them, I thought they was a bunch of kung fu dudes, you know. All right, you know what I'm saying? You know, I'm young, 18, 19 years old. I ain't know no better. So meth dropped to Cal, right? And I'm checking it out. And I'm like, okay, this is nice, 94, you know, new dude on the scene, you know, I came to bring the pain, hardcore, you know, I'm like, okay, I fuck with this dude. But then I found out it was like 9 other dudes. And I'm like, okay, let me get into this shit. So I had to actually go back and revisit the 36
Oh,
chambers. You know what I'm
wow.
saying? So I was a year behind. Yes. So then I
Wow.
found out about Ghostface and Master Killer and you know, Ghost is my favorite. I mean, let me make that clear right now. Ghost is my favorite out of the Wu. So, you know, then Raekwon. So Meth kind of introduced me into the Wu, but I could tell you, bro, I was already in the karate flicks anyway. You
Yeah.
know what
Who
I'm
was
saying?
it?
So
DP, our
yeah,
era
yeah,
was
we
into
grew
that.
up. Yeah, our era was into that. I remember watching, you know, Black Belt, you know, theater with my pops and my brother and all that shit. So we already knew about the Five Deadly Venoms and you know what I'm saying, you know, the Drunken Style Master and all that shit. But when these dudes put that shit on wax, oh my God, bro. Oh my God. When I tell you, dog, I'm a big hip hop Wu-Tang fan. You know, I ain't gonna say I'm the biggest, you know what I'm saying, because I know there's other brothers out there that, you know, rock with the Wu heavy, but yeah, I'm a big Wu-Tang fan, man. Like, I've had all they solo joints. I don't care if it flopped or not. I still rock with them like, yo, man, because they come from that, you know, that era. And you never heard 9, 10 MCs that can spit like the way they can spit. And it still be going 30 years strong to this day. Oh, rest in peace to Old Dirty Bastard, man. Everybody didn't get dude. I got him.
I
I
got him too,
understood him.
DP.
I got him.
Shout out to ODB, man.
ODB, that dude was serious.
Yes. May I add on to what you was just cooking, bro? Wu-Tang Clan, like I just said, probably one of the biggest influence and trendsetters in music history. When I first heard Wu-Tang, of course I heard them on the radio. And Power 99 here in Philly was playing Protect Your Neck. So when it came on, you know, he said the name of the group, so automatically I'm thinking it's some Blasians. You know, they even have Asian or you know
Yeah, yeah,
have
yeah, yeah.
melanated, or they some Asian cats more so the more darker hue Asians, more so like Cambodians and some different some different dialects of the Chinese is kind of dark, but the Cambodians is strike you most. But anyway,
Right.
leading on to that, so when I first heard it, shout out to Bruce Gas. What's going on, OG?
What
Another
up,
Zen
OG?
music history, Mr. Jazz Man himself. We're gonna
Yes,
link up
sir.
and do some more music stuff. So when I heard
Absolutely.
the song, I wasn't really paying attention to the tone of the voices, and so I'm listening. I'm like, yo, these dudes is dope. So I'm thinking there's a group of Asian guys. So after the song went off, he said, well, everybody to come to y'all surprise, um don't let their gimmick, their style get y'all. These guys, none of these guys are Asian. Now I mean, and you know, for a second you couldn't see their faces till they actually showed their faces. So it's like, what? They not Asian? Well, what part of Soul career got some dark brothers, my complexion, that spitting like that? You understand what I'm saying? We got a
Right.
Soul Chinatown, a Soul Hong Kong, some damn where. It was mind boggling. So I was like, wow. So then, what's up? Real quick. Nah, nah. It's a fake one, bro. I'll tell you about it later, man.
That's a fake. It's just a picture.
Yeah, I'll put you down later. You disturbing my cook, man. We talking 90s hip hop. You know anything about 90s hip hop?
Shout
Yeah,
out to
show
Lil
your face.
Crush.
Cause this dude went and did a whole live, and I wasn't around and
I
asked you.
saw that.
Yeah, he did his own thing, man. So I'm gonna start his own channel, man. I said, what in the world is going on? Say, what's
I
up,
saw that.
TWT?
Yo, what's up, DWT?
TWT.
TWT, what's
Yeah,
up?
I saw that. What up, Lil Crush?
What's up, bro?
Say, look out for my content.
Look out for my content.
Yep, I got
you
you,
already
bro.
know.
Yeah, you right. Go ahead back down, all right? That's my guy right there, man.
Yes, sir,
That's
man.
Baby Crush right there, man.
Baby Crush right there, baby.
That's Baby Crush. Lil Crush just turned 23 2 days ago. Yeah,
Oh,
man.
okay. Happy birthday. Happy belated, man.
Yeah, he comes on the panels every once in a while and do his little cook. Hold up, DP, before we go any further. Ladies and gentlemen, shout out to the sexy, gorgeous Tay-Tay, the queen of MMA and combat entertainment, TWT via New York City.
Tay-Tay.
Shout out to the sexiest voice on YouTube. Hey, Tay-Tay, we talking 90s hip hop, baby, and I know
Stay right there, Crush.
Some shit in the
Tay-Tay is from the home of the Wu-Tang.
Hell
she know about up there, upstate New York. So you know what I'm saying? She know about what's going on up there. You know?
So she coming in at the right time.
Them her guys. Yeah,
right,
them her guys.
So as I shall proceed, like the Roots debut song, you know, do a little gym out there, you know, the mighty Roots. So when we found out that these group of MCs were not of any type of Asian descent, and they was melanated brothers, man, it took everybody by storm. People who wasn't even into Kung Fu flicks, because everybody wasn't into Kung Fu flicks, they got into them.
Right.
Then they started dressing a certain way. You know, this we talking 90s. This is the baggy jeans and flannel shirts and quilted jackets and bandanas and Timberland boots era. You know, wearing shit 2 sizes bigger than your actual size. Looking just like a rugged, I need a roughneck. Gotta get a roughneck, like MC Light said. You know what I'm saying?
Timberland boots.
This is the year of the oversized hockey jerseys, the baseball jerseys, football jerseys, the basketball jerseys. You see what I'm saying? Hey. This was that era, baby. You know that era,
the go-to
foot era. The foot era. Man. We all walking around with baggy ass jeans on, wearing fucking goddamn colors, FUBU, Carl Kanai, this, that, and the other. Man, the 90s, man, had everybody trying whatever the hell that they was coming out with. It was definitely very influential, and the Wu-Tang took the music industry by storm. The Wu-Tang Clan, man, I say had an impact on hip-hop like the Beatles had an impact on the USA. And they deserve that just due right there, because when they dropped, it had everybody effed up. And everybody was rocking to them. And even some people who was fans and still fans of their music that didn't comprehend them as well as some others. You understand what I'm saying? But they always stood the surface and the flow. But a guy like myself and yourself, you know, that got that hip-hop air, that MC head, really understood. But the casuals understood them enough because they made it easy enough for everybody that they was trying to connect to understand them. Some shout out to every MC in the Wu-Tang Clan, because it's not many MCs or rappers in hip-hop that you can say that was able to project they shit in a certain way to everybody will be able to get them. And nobody like, man, well, you know, they dope, but I don't really understand what they saying. You know, they had female fans. You see what I'm saying? You know, you got to have some sex appeal and all that. They had the females behind you. They had the ladies going crazy like they was the goddamn Jacksons.
Absolutely.
Oh my God, man, they was going off, man. You know, and it was very dope. A whole new sound and style. So shout out to the RZA for being another producer that brought a whole nother sound to
the RZA, man.
Shout out to the RZA, a damn 1-in-1. It could never be done again. My son, goddamn, Wu-Tang Clan is 90s was crazy, man. Oh gosh. Go ahead,
and then Crush, and then Crush, you know what's crazy is when they started dropping their solo joints. Yeah. And everybody, you know, going ahead, getting their solo shit. You know what I'm saying? Old Dirty with the welfare card on the front of the album cover. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, and then they come back in 97 and with the double LP, bro. To this day, I tell anybody, man, Triumph is one of the greatest hip hop songs, in my opinion, top 5 of all time. I could watch that video over and over, bro, just to see all them dudes come together and the way it was, man. I mean, the shit was crazy. The shit was crazy. Like, man, when Wu took over.
Yeah. What? Man, the Wu-Tang Clan and these dudes was dropping bars, bro. Listen, and before we go on to everybody else, because this is going to be a nice cook. This is going to take y'all into fight time. You hear me? This is going to take y'all into fight time. Buckle your seatbelt, baby. The Wu-Tang. Let's stay right here before we move on to other groups in the 90s. Look at when they dropped they solo shit, like DP said, right? ODB comes out with Enter the Return to the 36 Chambers Brooklyn Zoo shit. ODB is probably one of the most slept on skilled MCs. He had skills, people. He had skills. If you're a hip hop head, you will find some Wu-Tang freestyle shit, or even on some of the albums, he didn't have the hottest verses. He put some shit out there. I called him the Richard Pryor of fucking MCing, bro, because that's what he was. Raw, crazy, straight to the point, out of bounds, and very creative. Hell of a style, hell of a delivery. He took the rah-rah shit to a whole nother level. When this is the rah-rah era. This is the rah-rah era of leaders of the new school, Busta Rhymes, Redman, who a lot of people say he's the king of the rah-rah, and Wu-Tang came in a rah-rah era. The rah-rah era, the 90s era, is the motherfucking New Jack Swing era of hip-hop music, people. Look at the impact that the New Jack Swing had. That's was this version of the hip-hop era, was the rah-rah shit, and Wu-Tang played a great part in it. They had everybody going off. And just like DP said, Tikal came out. But damn it, best debut solo project by any member of the Wu-Tang Clan. I love Ghostface, but that debut gotta go to the classic, The Purple Tape.
The Purple Tape. I knew you was gonna say that.
Go to the Purple Tape.
The Purple Tape. Oh, absolutely.
Let's talk, people. Share this shit the F on out. It gotta go to the Purple Tape. My gosh.
The Purple Tape. Yes.
Charlie Brown.
Yes. The Purple Tape. Absolutely. That incarcerated Scarfaces, man. Oh my goodness, dude. Hey, Raekwon, I ain't gonna say was because the dude's still around. Raekwon is one of my favorites, bro. Seriously.
Yeah. And then my goodness, man.
The joint he did with Nas, man. What's the joint he did? Damn, I can't think of the shit right now. I see it.
You talk about the Intercourse joint.
Yes, the verbal intercourse. Yes,
verbal intercourse.
Yes.
Boom, 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 boom,
yo.
Stir up, burn us, scared us. What?
Yo,
that shit was dropping, yo.
The only dude that ever the first dude that ever do a future with the Wu-Tang Clan was Nas, because they always respected that dude. And we're gonna get on Nas a little bit later, man, because I got a whole lot of shit to say about dude. But yo, man, sticking to the Wu, bro, yes, absolutely. And all them brothers had something to say, man. But yeah, the Purple Tape was definitely a great influence, because if you remember, during the time, there was a little beef with them and Bad Boy. You know what I'm saying? You know, Ghost touched on it on the album or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, niggas coughing up Nas shit, you know, all that, yada, yada, yada shit. But yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, the Purple Tape wasn't no joke, bro.
Absolutely. Wu-Tang Clan showed the entire hip-hop world that, man, they just as bad as apart as they are as a group. And when you a faculty like that, sometimes it's very hard, because some guys are just, they at their best when they're together. A lot of guys can't go off and do separate projects and be as equally as effective and successful as they were when they was in a tight group. Wu-Tang Clan, one of the first groups that I seen that was successful at doing that. These guys, when they dropped these solos, they were very successful on every level of hip hop. If it didn't bang on the mass appeal level, they had that underground. So Wu-Tang Clan, that's why they was able to make a lot of money once they got their business straight. And these guys became one of the most earned hip hop groups in hip hop history. Sell out tours like a motherfucker, man. Everybody would be waiting for a Wu-Tang tour because you was going to see these guys do all these classic hits as a formation, as a unit, and then in the same show you get treated to a medley of all they top fucking hits. And like I said, the Purple Tape was the best debut album out the Wu, but all of they debut solo projects was mean as shit. Shout out to motherfucking Iron Man by Ghostface Killer. You know what I mean? ND 500. Damn it. It had them shits on there. Ghostface Killer.
Ghost, man.
Oh my gosh, man.
Hey.
Ghostface, Raekwon, Inspector Deck does something for me.
Yes.
Oh, they do something for me. Memphis,
Ghost, man. Yeah.
Even they all on boards, but those three dudes, man, my fucking god.
Hey, man, Ghost to me, and he's my favorite because I love the passion in his delivery, and on top of that, man, if you listen to his catalog, he got a lot of soulful shit. Like if you follow Ghostface, man, throughout the years, like I did, he brought a lot of soul music into his hip hop. Not saying that the RZA didn't.
He brought it back. Yes, he did.
Oh
DP. He brought that shit back. And while we speaking of Ghostface, and this goes out to a few members in the Wu-Tang Clan, huh? Y'all want to talk about M&F and storytelling? Y'all want to talk about storytelling? God damn it, Ghostface Killer, top 5 storytellers in hip hop. Anytime anybody want to debate about that, holla at your boys.
Absolutely.
Holla at us, man. It's no debate. Oh my gosh. This dude's stories, man. The whole entire Wu-Tang Clan is great storytellers. People, it's not up for debate. But if you want to talk about it, we can. Trust me. You're going to learn
Crush.
that.
The dude said he got into a shootout with the Delphonics. I mean, that's
how
crazy.
About that, bro?
How you get into a shootout when he said he got into a shootout with the Delphonics, but then go drop a song with him? Like, man, Ghost was a wild dude. And check out the series on Hulu too, man, because I learned a lot. Like, I didn't even know them dudes didn't even rock with each other in the beginning, man.
Yeah, they was going to war, most of them. Right. They was at war trying to kill each other most of them.
I didn't even know that. You know what I'm saying? But then the RZA had to bring all them dudes together and they was beefing and now they brothers? Shit crazy, man.
Bro. Yeah. Dudes was actually trying to kill each other, man.
Absolutely.
Look at Ray and Ghost, bro. And they became one of the best duos in hip hop.
Yeah.
Oh man, when they link up, bro. That's another version of Styles and Kiss in his own way. That's the same level.
Yeah. Pun and Fat Joe. Yeah, absolutely.
That's the same level as Run DMC. Those guys together, the chemistry. That's why if you notice throughout the projects, they was always on each other's shit. You would see them on each other's shit more so than everybody else in the Wu because they got close like that. So what happened between Raekwon and Ghost, the war, it was destined to be. That was made to happen the way that it did because it created a brotherly bonds that can be broken, and their integrity level and love and respect for each other is beyond chemistry, bro.
Absolutely,
beyond a perfect chemistry. And shout out to them for that. But Wu-Tang was making a hell of a fucking impact. Shout out to Wu-Tang Clan. Now we moving on. We still in the 90s. We can keep it. Yes, brother.
Let me throw something at you. Let's talk about Pac, man. Let's talk about Pac, bro.
Hey, listen. You start them off and I end it, bro. That's how we rocking.
Let's talk about Pac, man. Because
let's go to Pac. Go ahead. You got it, DP.
I think, to me, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, to me, he had the most influence in the 90s because of how he came out. And then when he did his solo shit, he was on the revolutionary tip. Because, man, I studied his albums that do, the Tupacalypse Now, and then to come back, you know what I'm saying, to make the joints like he did. To me, he had the most turnaround. And you know, his short period of time from 91 to 96, you know, to his demise. To put out 5, 6 albums and all of them sounded different. And then the way he dressed, you know, the tattoos, and you know the ladies loved him. I mean, even to this day, I mean, 30 years later. To me, in my honest opinion, I wouldn't say that he was like one of the best lyricists. I mean, he was a great lyricist but the way his delivery was, it was unmatched. The way he just, you know, got on the mic and just attacked it, and he could talk about any topic. You put something in, you know, whatever was going on around that time, he was going to talk about it, and he was unapologetic about it. And I wish he had like stayed around now to see where hip hop is at, because I think he still would have had an impact on what's going on today, in my opinion. But yeah, I absolutely love Tupac. I got tattoos on me in reference to his songs. What up, Quee? TWT, First Lady. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Bruce Gas, Tay-Tay, Siriat, Skywalker.
Yeah, I hear you, broski. I hear you, man.
I just wanted to touch on that, man, because everybody always look at, you know, the shit that he did outside the booth and everything. And, you know, we seen the movie and everything that was going on, man. But to me, man, I think he had probably one of the most influence, you know, in hip hop, man, you know, Juice, bruh. When I saw Juice, yeah, Queen.
What's up, sis? My girl in the building.
Absolutely.
The First Lady. There she is.
First Lady.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead. Keep on
I was saying,
bro.
man, when I saw Juice, and you know, back then, the movies had to match up with the soundtracks, Crush. You know that. If you put a dope movie out, Boys in the Hood, the soundtrack was live. Menace to Society, Juice. I'm gonna stick on that. Juice to me, man. And when I saw that dude on the screen, bro, I was like, this dude is scary. Just the way he embodied the Bishop character, man. You know what I'm saying? It was something different. Like, damn, we witnessing some shit right now, man. And then if you notice, all the movies in the 90s after that kind of took on, you know, it was just attacking the times, man. You know, the crack era, you know what I'm saying? Hip hop, all that. New Jersey Drive, shout out to that, you know. I mean, bruh, Pac was different, man. But go ahead and cook on him, man.
All right, since we had Tupac, let me add on. So let's start from the beginning. At Tupac, DP went right in to the hot point, no problem. But we're gonna keep that fire right there. I'm just gonna turn it up from the beginning and get right up to where DP started at with Tupac. Well, ladies and gentlemen, yes, very influential. This guy, we did not know if he was going to ever be as big as he became. We didn't even know if he was going to be a solo artist. He was being seen around. Started out as a dancer. Get on the good foot.
Yes, he did.
Started out as a dancer for Digital Underground. Rest in peace. Humpty Hump. Shop G, rest in peace.
Yes.
Started out as a dancer, right? Wound up on one of the songs, you know, and you had a little verse, and next thing you know, got on that I Get Around shit, and that was the birth of Tupac. Now, speaking of Tupac, for me, in my opinion, people, his best work was his early work, and the reason why I say that is because the way that he dropped.
Yes,
Tupac brought back what they stole from us. Tupac brought back what was taken from us from Public Enemy, from
Absolutely. Yep.
from those cats. Remember, at the NWA came out, it kind of broke shit up. Let's just keep it real. Tupac brought that back. Once again, respectfully, there's no way Slick Rick can be greatest storyteller all time with that small catalog and that one album. Great stories, but they are not the best stories ever in hip hop. Tupac came out and made an impact. He was a storyteller first, people. He was a storyteller first when he first made his debut.
Man.
He was a storyteller, conscious person. Like I said, he brought back what was taken from us, from the conscious era. He brought it back. Keep your head up. Brenda had a baby.
Bruh, they claim that I'm violent.
That whole album was something else. That was the birth of Tupac, the actor birth. Now, in the developing of Tupac, he made such of an impact that he turned. Yes, he turned people. Tupac turned. Style of music turned. He turned into a thug, a gangster rapper. And speaking of the movie Juice, the Bishop role was a gift. The curse is that's when everything. That was around the time, ladies and gentlemen, when all this shit first started falling and rattling apart for Tupac. The damn shit came up when I'm getting, set up at the studio. All sorts of, allegedly raping people and getting into fights and rolling around with Death Row. This when the curse began, people. Yes, he gave us great music. Yeah, he did turn up. Yes, he did turn up on his gangster shit. Now, far as MC wise, lyrically wise, I was not the biggest fan of Tupac.
Okay, that's respected. Respected.
I was on Tupac ass because I'm an East Coast beast, the beast from the East, the birth of this hip hop shit. Yes, I was being a narcissist in that way. Yes, I was, and I had every right to, cause I'm a fucking b-boy.
Right.
Beginning, I'm a child of hip hop. I was there from the beginning and rolled all up in it. So,
right.
But at the same time, I was a fan of some of that shit he put out because he was hitting them up. Oh my God, Tupac he just went all over the fucking place when he turned up. I gotta give credit to credit is due. He was putting out some shit.
Man, yes, I tell you, man.
I like the Machiavelli album. I love that shit. Wasn't his biggest fan, but I was a fan of some of his shit. I ain't going front on him. I just wasn't a Tupac head like that. But damn, he put out some shit. Goddamn, I hit him up. Oh my goodness. I was like, Elizabeth, I got him my goddamn Sanford and Son shit. I feel a big one coming on. Elizabeth, I'm coming to join you, honey. I said, oh my goodness. The East Coast is starting to look like the Roman ruins. Oh my God! The East Coast is getting beat the fuck up. The West Coast is beating on the East Coast people like Errol Spence beat on guys. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Oh my God, the West Coast was beating on the East Coast like Errol Spence beat up on his homie Lamont Peterson. Oh my gosh, the West Coast was beating up the motherfucking beast of the East. Like Floyd Mayweather beat up motherfucking Diego Corrales and beat down Arturo Yaddy. Oh my gosh. It was like that, people. I thought hip hop was over. I didn't know what was going to happen. Jay-Z even came out and said New York ain't been the same since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings. It was the invasion of the West Coast when he came around 93, 94. Let's talk this shit.
Absolutely, bro.
DP, let we talking this shit, bro. Anybody, y'all say this shit and y'all share this out and y'all tell these rat bastards to go check this playback, baby. Because we cooking. We cooking, DP. Can you please take the mic and continue on with what I just said? God damn.
Yes, sir. You already know. Yeah, man. The West Coast came in and, like you said, they kicked the buildings down, man. And I saw it. I was right there in the mix of it. I remember all that shit, bro. The Dog Pound, Cube, you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't done. I don't personally think it was done to attack the East Coast, man. I just think the East Coast had to step their shit up, man. And for me, the woo was already out. But the guy that I'm getting ready to shift to now, first 5 mics in the Source album, Nas Escobar. Illmatic. Illmatic to me. When I heard Illmatic Crush, I said, East is back. The East is back, bruh. Illmatic. If ain't nobody ever sat down and really listened to that album from 1 to 9 or 10, how many joints on there? They already called him the second coming of Rakim. You know this, Crush, for a fact. But Nas was the guy for me. Illmatic. I seen the dude in concert, man. I'm telling you, the man to me is one of the greatest poets of all time. That guy right there, man, and his story to come out of Queensbridge when the bridge was over. It was. The bridge was literally over. The bridge was literally over.
Hold up, DP. Before you continue, I got to steal this from Ricky, and I ain't got no damn out that machine. Did you hear what I said? Go ahead, DP. God damn.
Shout out to Rick for that. Shout out to Rick for that. But yeah, man, Nas was different. And I think he was the guy who scared people into saying, oh shit, we need to step up now. Now they got a young 19, 20-year-old guy, you know, who just come out the gate. New York State of Mind. Life's a bitch. Whose world is this? The world is yours. Absolutely.
He was 17 when the album debuted.
Yes. Yes. He put the East back on the map as far as, okay, now we back now. But then the notorious B.I.G. came. Biggie. Nobody saw Big coming. I remember when he was doing features or whatever, but nobody saw Big coming. We didn't know that he was going to be as big as he was. So then you started seeing the shift of power, you know, kind of going back. And then, of course, you know, the whole East Coast, West Coast thing, which we all got caught up into that shit, man. I ain't even gonna lie, bro. That shit was some whack ass shit. Controlled by the media. Controlled by the media. Controlled by the media. They knew what they was doing. Yeah, they fucked up hip hop. Absolutely.
True fucking legends, man. Before you go on DP, let me get some of this real quick, brother. And I know you're gonna pick up right where I left off, bro. Speaking, we in the 90s. Aren't we these artists that we talking about? We still just on the best influences part. We didn't even move out of that category yet. We still the influence part to catch y'all up. Because these are the ones that made a fucking impact. Biggie Smalls, the notorious B.I.G.
Boy.
Another trendsetter. Guess what? He brought big boys back in style, god damn it.
Mm-hmm.
He brought the big teddy bear boys back in style because at that time, people, let's talk about it. You know, LL, you know, I ain't no fake. I ain't got no body by Jake. LL, you know, killed that shit. You see what I'm saying? Even though Heavy D was holding it down, him and Chubster, yes, another big boy.
Chub Rock, yes, sir.
But L kept it. Rock. L kept it rolling. Yo, Hev came in and put a little hold in it, but L said, hold the fuck up. It ain't too many you big boys around to stop what I'm doing right now. And rightfully, that's true, because most of them was gone. You know, Hev and Chubster was the last of the Mohicans at the time. You can say Heavy D, because he was still around. Chubb had disappeared for a little bit. You see what I'm saying? So when Biggie came out, this big dark midnight purplish, whatever you want to call him, lazy eye motherfucker, monster man. This motherfucker can spit. Damn it. One of the shortest catalogs. Look.
Yes.
One of the shortest catalogs in hip hop and music history, right? Now, other than Slick Rick, because that shit is very debunkable, and I shits on that all the time. That's not, nobody would never try to talk to me about that. But Biggie, with a small catalog, maybe a little more than Slick Rick, but definitely the total opposite. Because this is an argument that most people leave alone. Some people say the greatest of all time in that short period of time, because this man was bad. His damn style was just like his looks. It came heavy, it came dark, and you knew he was the fuck coming. Oh my gosh, this dude was a fucking wordsmith. This dude was highly creative. He could freestyle, he could write. The man was bad. And he has some nice ass stories in his catalog. There's another story catalog that our top Slick Rick. I'm not sorry, people, but respectfully, yes. I'm going to keep on reminding y'all. Before you go to your grave, you're going to understand you got to let that go like the dub TKO. Slick Rick is not the greatest storyteller of all time. Let's just say in your own thing. That's cool. Favorite. But try to make a logic out of it. I'm going to kill it every time. Respectful.
Right.
This man was nasty, people.
Yeah.
And I can understand why people said what they said. Because for a minute, I was like, yeah, I get it, man. But, you know, Big ain't put out enough material. But then when I go back and listen to everything from freestyles and shit, I'm like, well, damn. Shit, if we can have one hit wonders, why we can't? Shit. Motherfuckers that did less than that, they had one song and that was it.
Right.
Made some dough and then so yeah, Big. Oh my gosh, man. Big was nasty.
Big, man. Yeah, he was very nasty, man. And like I said about Pac, man, it's a shame that them brothers ain't around now.
They killed them, man. They killed them.
Yes.
The system, the industry killed them two brothers.
Yeah.
And the thing is, people, them dudes was going to rekindle they bond that they had. Because they was tight with each other. No matter if Pac did knock off Faith, oh, well, that just comes to show you what type of woman Faith Evans is. Okay. Respectful. Right. You see what I'm saying? You know, Big ain't say, I'm going to go out and kill his motherfucker, this, that, and other. He made a joke. He even made a hot-ass bar about it in return to what Pac was saying. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, it is what it is. We all then had somebody else's, no matter if it was, you know, intentionally or not. We all been a part of the OPP, no matter if we did it on purpose or not. It just happens sometimes. But this man had a hell of an impact, man. And he, that ready to die shit.
Oh my goodness,
my God.
bro.
I mean, when we talk about the 90s, so many things to talk about because so many hot ass debut albums from so many different cats. Even though we go over to Snoop Dogg, we go back to the West Coast real quick. Snoop Dogg did have the most anticipated hip hop album of all time. Yes,
he did. Yes, he did.
Damn, that didn't stop cats from putting out some heat. That Illmatic,
man,
what a straight play through classic. Nothing but fucking classics. Any of those songs, the ones that didn't even make the radio, even the ones that you would consider filling tracks, that shit was so hot you can't say a track on it was a filling, but y'all get what I'm saying. You know, out of
Crush, if you remember that, I don't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, you got to go, bro. We cooking. Go ahead.
If you remember, before the internet came out, we was actually going about the source magazines.
We was buying the magazines.
We was buying the magazines to see who was unsigned hype. Big was in unsigned hype. You know, we were buying the magazines to see who get 5 mics. Like I said, Illmatic was the first 5 mic album that the Source magazine gave. You know, Nas made his debut on Live at the Barbecue on Main Source, Large Professor. So after that, it took off. You know, yeah, absolutely. Shout out to Large Professor, man. Extra P was another production and lyricist.
Large nice, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Absolutely. Main Source was, man, I'm telling you. But Nas was like, to me, man, like he kicked it off as far as the new leaders, as far as the lyricists in that category, because he made guys step up. He actually made dudes like think about what the hell they were gonna say before they said it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and we speaking on like influence because, man, you know, right around that time, the whole red, black, and green was dying. We know what it is. I mean, we still had the Public Enemies out there. We still had, you know, guys that was leading the X-Clans and all that, man. But I think a lot of the MCs were coming out just speaking on what was going on around their neighborhood as far as the the drugs at the time. The movie, I mean, you like I touched on the movies earlier. You seen where the movies was taking us, man. You couldn't even make a dope ass movie without a dope ass soundtrack. Like we talked about the soundtrack, like, oh man, that shit was dope. You had this, you had that on there. It was crazy, man. So it was a good time, bro. And I know for me, man, I partied a lot, bro. I stayed in the clubs, man. So it was like every weekend I was, you know, because you can put on a song, bro. We wasn't doing all that, you know, that white shit that they doing now. We was actually out there, you know, dancing and having fun and actually kicking it. You got into a scrap, it wasn't no guns blazing. It was two dudes going at it, one-on-one.
Right.
You know? So, you know, yeah, all of that. It was just, it was different, man. And I talk about that with a smile on my face, man, because I was in the mix of it, bro.
Wait, real quick, DP, and I want the chat to join in. Cause y'all don't never join in when I ask y'all shit. Y'all just go on freeze. Why do y'all do that? Don't be doing that with me. Y'all not the ones that's supposed to go on freeze when I ask y'all to respond to something. No, that's not for y'all. When I say that, I want y'all to join in. God damn it. So listen, by chat family participation, right? Drop the number 7 in the chat. Y'all feeling this cook that we doing this morning. Me and my co-host DP Rocker is doing on this 90s hip hop. Drop a 7 in the chat for me and DP Rocker, because I gotta get the flames set up. I'm gonna work on getting them set up later on.
Yes, sir.
But now, matter of fact, that number 7 will represent movie lovers. So we all movie lovers, right? We all movie lovers in here. So we movie lovers in here. Drop a number 7. That's my favorite number. Goddamn, that's my favorite number. 727 is my favorite number. The year I was born, and the number 27 also represents the unfortunate age that my mother passed. She was 27 years old when she passed, and I was born 727. So they my favorite numbers. So anytime you hear me talk about 7 or 27, y'all know what it is. So we all movie lovers. So now DP Rocker has opened up another part of our program. And it's soundtracks, god damn it.
The soundtracks, bro.
Listen.
The soundtracks. Oh my goodness.
Before we go on, I'm going to be honest with y'all. We do not prep for our show.
Nah.
I have not hit DP and said this is what we're going to do, and vice versa. You know it's dope when you can just go ahead like that. But we will put together some shit, especially when we go into this other shit. When we go into the other genres, yeah, man, DP gonna have to put something together for that. Now, we're gonna put something together for that. But y'all see how natural this cook is. We have not sat down. We just say, what's the topic? Okay, 90s hip hop. What's the time? And that's it. And we get there, we go from there, baby. So shout out to my partner, my brother, DP Rocker, and we representing BC. He couldn't join us this morning, but I'm pretty sure he will be joining us next Saturday. Well, family, anytime y'all want to come on and host with us in the ColdCrush Lounge, you free to do it. Just say something. Don't make me start drafting you motherfuckers. You know, I do have a reputation of throwing people in front of the bright lights. Don't make me have to do that to you, TWT, because y'all already built for it. Yes, son. How can I help?
Hey,
shout out to TWT.
If y'all want to see it other me doing a live stream, make sure y'all hit that bell, like, comment, share, and subscribe. Also, I'm gonna come in your house when you sleeping. So tune in now.
That's the future right there, baby. I like that.
That's him, man. He's next up, man.
He's next up. I like that, bro. I like that. Teach him right, bro. Teach him right,
he's been like that ever since, man. Real quick before we move on with the cook, I remember he was about 3 years old, and we was doing a block party. Me and my homie that I DJ with. This dude grabs the microphone at 3 years old and started like being a master of ceremony. No bullshit, people. I'm at to ask my bro, because he got still shots, pictures of it. I'm at to tell him, can he dig up the pictures, man? That shit was crazy. And we was just sitting there. And all my homies like, yeah. That you all over again.
He know what he want to do. He know what he
Yeah.
want to do, and I like that, man. He know what he want to do.
Yeah. Oh, you know I got him in Quee. When he's here, even though he be doing his own thing, he listen. He can repeat everything that he didn't heard y'all say. So he be paying attention. So he's already getting to cook. He's already getting his lessons, and I didn't already start schooling him years ago. So
Hey,
he's
that's
already
what's up,
he's
brother.
a natural. He picked it up. My oldest son got it too, but he's more of a laid back guy. But sometimes that's why you hear him come on and every once in a while. But this one here, he's more so into that. So he's taking on that part of me. My daughter, shout out to my oldest, my only girl, my baby girl. She took the dancing. She's a dialysis tech, and on the side, she is a cheerleader team choreographer and instructor. So she still keeps that same vibe. And speaking of sons, here's my oldest son right here. Yo, Ada, what's going on, man? I'm doing my hip hop 90s cook and just talk your ass up. What's happening? What's going on with you, man? You know the fam can hear you. Yeah, we talking about 90s hip hop, which he is a music study people, so he's an old soul. I mean, look who his pops is. He come from a thorough cloth on both sides of his family, and he knows 90s hip hop just like we do, and that's his era because he was born at the end of that era, and I was still listening to that kind of music, and he always listened to music for how good it was. Not doesn't matter how old it is. Die hard, Rakim fan. You ain't gonna
Hey,
tell him anybody's fucking with Rakim. The only person
mm,
he'll probably put over Rakim is Jay-Z. But
mm.
most likely he ain't, you know what I mean? He'd be like, man, yeah, that's him. You know what I mean? And shout out to him. He loves Rakim. That's his guy.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, man, getting back. So we on soundtracks now. So we
Yes,
had a
sir.
lot of classic movies in the 90s. Like the 90s was the golden era for everything, the best era. Even the old heads that's from the oldie but goodies age even say that about the 90s. You see what I'm saying? Especially the R&B shit. That's saying,
Oh,
and even with hip hop, because shout out to Biggie Smalls, he made a big impact because Biggie Smalls had old heads listening to him.
yes, he
Yeah,
did.
motherfuckers in their 40s and 50s, trying to keep up with the Joneses was us in our 30s and 20s. Biggie start having motherfuckers dress up, put on Versace shirts and the glasses and all that, and all those big motherfuckers that they came out wearing them overalls and them big ass them big ass jeans and shit, and start dressing the fuck up, getting fly and all that, and that's what brought the big guys back. Motherfucker, goddamn Biggie Smalls turned that shit out. Big girls started loving big guys. That's when big guys start coming into play. Because don't be fronting like y'all always like big dudes. Stop fronting, ladies. Stop fronting like big dudes is always in. And there was only certain type of females that like big guys. All y'all wasn't big dudes level. But when Biggie came back and put the big dudes back into play and all that, and he inspired a lot of big dudes because a lot of big dudes had a low self-esteem at the time. They was walking around looking sloppy, all rough, rugged, and raw, looking like they straight from the sewer, out of Dodge effects, all that shit. Walking around looking like football players and goddamn gladiators and all that shit. Y'all know it. Beard all fucking rough and shit. Look, walking around all woolly, looking like motherfucker Blanca from motherfucker goddamn Street Fighter. Big dudes is looking rough. And LL has crushed the big dudes. Y'all heard what I said earlier. Been paying attention. You better take your goddamn notes, right? So Biggie, because he was wearing the lumberjack shit first, and I hate to get his guy salute, but that old devil, he knows the business, so I got to give the devil his credit on that. He said, hey man, we gonna dress you up, put you fly. You see what I'm saying? So Biggie Smalls, and along with Jay-Z, because he also get credit for making motherfuckers dress up, taking off the jerseys and putting on the button downs. And Biggie Smalls and Jay-Z both play a part with that. But we talking about the big boys, put the big dudes back in play, and then all of a sudden, all these video vixens, these natural body, these bad motherfuckers and shit. You see what I'm saying? Now they all want big boys and shit. Big boys started hustling and shit. You know what I'm saying? They was hustling before, but they ain't care how they look. They dressed the way that they stay on the corner all day. And they don't fuck that this big motherfucker getting like that. Oh, he got the bitches. Oh, he got that little fine ass little chick, little Kim, talking about sucking dick and doing this and Janet Jackson and this, that, other. He got these fine bitches saying that. Look at the female followers he got. Oh shit, let me dress up like this motherfucker. God damn, I thought the big dudes was going. Heavy D left us, but Biggie Smalls bought his back. So now we here, people, and then like we said, we on the soundtracks. Who's the Mac? Remember that movie?
Oh my goodness.
Trying to be motherfucking cops. One of the dopest soundtracks. So we on soundtracks right now. DP Rocker, the co-host with the co-most. The stage is yours, brother. Go ahead and cook.
Man, the 90s soundtracks to me, man, was, you know, because like I said, if you got the movie, you got to have some dope, you know, music behind the movie. And I think that was one of the things that, to me, that I started seeing. It started with the 80s, because you can't, if you hear a certain song, like to this day, if you hear a song, you know what movie it came from. You know what I'm saying? You know, and it started back in the 80s. But for hip hop, like for me, man, like when you get some of the top MCs on a soundtrack that match the movie, and like I said, I remember, bro, this is a quick story. I went and bought juice. I skipped school to go buy juice. And I come out the record store, bro, no lie. I'm in 11th grade at the time, you know what I'm saying? Juice just came out, you know, it's like, oh, everybody going crazy. I come out the damn store, bro, and my mom's standing right there. My mother's standing right there. And I'm sitting there like going crazy, like, oh shit, what do I do? She looked at me and said, get your ass back in school right now. I couldn't even lie, like, you know what I'm saying? But that's just what we did, man. We skipped school or leave lunch to go buy, you know, albums or CDs or tapes at the time. But I had to go get it, because in the hood, you wanted to be the first one to get it. You wanted to be the first one to get it. You know what I'm saying? Me and my dude used to go back and forth, like who got it first or whatever the case is. But the soundtracks, man, Boys in the Hood, Minister Society, New Jersey Drive, you know what I'm saying? Even when Who's the Man came out, that soundtrack, all the shit was just like bonkers, man. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff was just crazy, bro. Like, I was just like, man, like thinking of today, like we're gonna talk about the touch base on the soundtracks a little bit.
Crooklyn.
Absolutely, Crooklyn.
Crooklyn had a hell of a soundtrack, bro.
Yes, it did.
Ricky, salute, bro. What's going on? Salute, yes, the ColdCrush brothers, man, DP. Salute to the guy, Ricky, in the building. Mr. Did you hear what he said? Make the
Rick, what's up, brother?
Salute, Rick. Salute, OTB. Rick. What's going on?
My big brother, Rick. OTB, that's my Cincinnati brother right there, OTB. But
go ahead, DP. You gotta be talking about these soundtracks, bro. Go ahead and cook on.
Yeah, them soundtracks in the 90s, man. It was just like when you had to get some MCs to just come on and just spit whatever, even as singers, man, whatever you can, you know what I'm saying? The R&B singers, man. And then you go back and watch the movie and you hear it doing the movie and everything. You're like, oh man, it just made me just want to go get that shit. Like, yeah, you know, the Minister Society soundtrack, you know what I'm saying? You know, but it was a time, man, like, man, it was crazy, man. And I'm speaking like this because it was like 30 years ago, Crush, like 30 years, like, damn, bro, like time just be flying, man. Like you sit back and just wonder, like, what you was doing when this came out, or what you was doing when that song came out, what you was doing when that album came out, or whatever the case is. You know, I saw Minister Society 8 times, bro, in the movie theater, no lie. 8 times. 8 times. That's crazy. And what's crazy now is, now that I'm older, I can't even watch the damn movie now. I can't even watch it now. Like, bro, I can't watch that type of, because I was young and goofy then. We like, oh, that's hard, man. But you really look at the message in the movie, it was kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I can't even watch the shit now.
Hey, quick question for you in the chat. All right, so since we talk about soundtracks, and you said let's go back to the 80s. Now, my question to everybody, and I want y'all to respond to it, you too, DP. So the birth of the soundtracks, yes, it goes back to the 80s. Which movie is the godfather of the soundtracks? Is it Crush Groove, Beat Street, or Wild Style? Go.
Crush Groove. Easy. Crush Groove. I got the album right now, man. Don't make me go find my vinyl, man. But yeah, Crush Groove, dog. Crush Groove. Crush
DP.
Groove.
You ain't know I was gonna say that.
Hey, man, Crush Groove, dog. Crush Groove. Absolutely, in my opinion. I mean, everybody got their own opinion. But Crush Groove.
Pre
At
said
the
Crush
time,
Groove. Ricky Williams said Wild Style.
okay, Rick, I like Wild Style was cold, dog. But for me, it was Crush Groove, man. The Fat Boy, Sheila E., Curtis Blow, Run DMC. I mean, come on, man. LL, my radio, believe me, I like it loud. I'm the man with the box that can rock the crowd. Walking down the street to the hardcore beat while my JVC vibrates the con. Come on, don't get me started, Crush.
Well, listen.
Don't get me started.
All right, for everyone who didn't even put in Crush Groove and you thinking Crush Groove, well, I'm going to tell you, you are wrong. The correct answer is Wild Style, and this is why. The reason why is Wild Style, because the Crush Groove soundtrack was the spinoff of Wild Style. Wild Style came out right before Crush Groove. If you go back and just look at the MCs that was on Wild Style and look at the ones that was on Crush Groove, every last one of those was descendants or even came from that era.
Yes,
all
sir.
the MCs that they looked up to, the ones that was on Crush Groove, was fans and studies of the ones that was on Wild Style. So that credit would go out to everyone that was on Wild Style. Treacherous,
Absolutely.
All those guys, ColdCrush, Dougie, all those cats. So yes, it definitely was. And also Ricky just said another dope soundtrack, Dead Presidents.
Oh my goodness. Rick, the dope. Oh yeah, bro. Dead Presidents, man. Yes. Dead Presidents. My goodness, bro. Yeah. And see, they don't make movies like that no more, Crush. They don't make movies that match up with the soundtracks, man. And that's, I think they took that out of, like, they took that away from us, man, because we appreciated that. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Breaking, man. Like, nobody ever talks about Breaking.
Right, the movie Breaking.
Like, for real. Yes, nobody ever talks about Breaking, man, in the soundtrack. I know it was West Coast or whatever, but nobody ever talks about Breaking, man. Like, that shit was crazy. That soundtrack was ridiculous, man.
Yeah, yes, it was another dope soundtrack. Breaking definitely was a dope soundtrack. Even if B Street was a dope one too. You see what I'm saying? But I think B Street, in my opinion, is probably the lesser of the ones we respectfully been talking about so far. But damn that.
And the only reason why I say Crush Groove Crush is because I'm a little younger than you, so you got me in like a generation before me. So I remember 9-10 years old when Crush Groove came on, and I can relate to that time right there. I remember Wild Style. I had to go back and do my research, but I was in the mix of Crush Groove. You know what I'm saying? I was so in awe of the movie. It made me go by the soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? Seeing New Edition when they was young, doing My Secret on stage, and you know what I'm saying? The Fat Boys, turning the shit out. Like, Run DMC was at the height of their career. So, it was crazy. Curtis Blow. So, like I said, we only had a handful of MCs at the time, but man,
Turbo,
I resonated with that.
Had to do with some bad dudes, man. And shout out to Turbo, one of the baddest cats to do the moonwalk, aka the original name of the moonwalk is the moon slide. And I had to go on a couple people and tell them Michael Jackson or nor did hip hop create the moonwalk. The mud slide was created back in the fucking 40s. Let's continue.
Absolutely, bro.
And he was trying to say the guy from Shalimar created it. No.
Yeah. I heard that too.
Don't you ever go against my word when it comes to feet. You understand me? Ever.
One of the best dancers ever do it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
One of the best dancers
However,
ever do it.
listen to me when I talk about footwork in anything. I
Let's stay right
say
there, Crush. Let's stay right there. Let's talk about the boys up in New York, man. The New York City Breakers, man. Crazy Legs and them.
oh wow. Crazy Legs and they were dope. I actually got to see them battle some Philly cats. They got Philly on the break dancing, born the popping. Philly got to the ass, but they got it on the breaking. They came here and battled the Philly Breakers, the Scanner Boys, who was more so known for popping, locking, and TikTok, and they was the shit. But at that time, um, the breakdance groups that would have did a better job against Crazy Legs and it was a political and geographical thing. So if you didn't have a plug, then you wasn't gonna get put on because there was a lot of dope raw talent breakdance groups in Philly that should have got up in the battle between Philly and New York Breakers when he first did it the first time around. He did it 3 times total, but when he did it the second and third time around, it was more fair and everything. But that first one should have had the better guys representing Philly on the break
Right.
dancing side of the things. I think they did right with the Scandal Boys as far as the popping and the locking because they was very fucking dope. Let's look up the Scandal Boys. But
Yeah.
yeah, they got in Crazy Legs and them got in the ass, bro. When they came to the breaking, like they could break, but they wasn't on the level of those guys. You know what I mean?
That scene in B Street when they battled in the tunnel.
Okay.
That when they battled in the tunnel, New York City Breakers versus Crazy Legs and them.
Right.
When you saw that, like, what was you think? What was going on in your mind when you saw that? When you saw that battle?
I should have been in that scene. I should have been in that scene, man. And I was like, I'm not gonna hate on it. At that time, I really wanted Philadelphia to come together and do a story because at that time it would have been right because Philly and New York was the 1 and 2. You know how
Right.
Minnesota's the Twin Cities. Well, Philly and New York is the Twin Cities when it comes to the birth and the start of hip hop. Um, Respectfully, you know what I mean. And I enjoyed it, man. And I just pictured myself in there, or even some other cats from Philly. But I give y'all a story. The kid Lee, the guy that played Lee, um,
Yeah. Lil
he
Lee.
came to Philly and he lost to a Puerto Rican guy named Jose. Jose was from up there in the Badlands around Fourth and Ontario. That's up in North Philly. That's the Badlands area. Um, that's where a lot of these hard hip hop cats and go mess with the street guys and all that. Fat Joe actually has peoples in that part of the city because that's like one of the biggest sections of Latinos and Hispanics. And Lee was cold, but they had a battle at the Civic Center at the time when they used to do concerts and things like that. And at the time they was doing a nationwide thing. And Jose on a solo tip, he was representing Philly. Him and his brother Miguel, but Miguel was actually better than him. But Miguel had shattered his ankle bone up in a little incident. So he couldn't represent. So Jose did, and Jose was taking everybody out in the solo competition in Philly. So he was trying to make the audition for the B Street movie, but he didn't make it in time. So then he went over to New York a couple times, and he went over there making some noise and letting it know the cat from Philly, Puerto Rican kid named Jose, and he went there work with anybody. So he was in Brooklyn at a club. I wasn't there, but I heard it because some of my folks was there. And he went in there and handled a whole lot of dudes. So it got back to Lee. So when he was having a little hip hop show at the Civic Center, and it was displaying dancers too, just as well as artists and stuff, local artists and artists that's known. And
Right.
they battled there. That shit was hot. But shout out to Jose. Hopefully he's still alive. But Jose got over on Lee, man. That
Yeah,
that
hey,
that dude was nasty. He
I can
was
believe
like
it.
Jose was like a shorter version of Crazy Legs. So he was very flexible for a short guy. He was no taller than about 5'7". And when I mean this dude do about 50 head spins before he go into anything else. He broke the record in Philly of the longest windmills, bro. He did
Mm.
he did a windmill set straight for 3 minutes and 42 seconds non-stop. That's just one. That's just the regular. Then when he went airborne, when he just using the shoulder roll, no hands, the no hands shit, he went for about 4. Man, the dude was an animal with that shit, dog, and he was tricky.
Wow.
He wound up getting over on Lee, but it was good sportsmanship and everything. And they actually wound up doing some shit together, you know. So yeah, but man, that breaking era was something else, man. And I was glad to be a part of it and the music that was out back then. So you know, we was breakdancing to the Crush Groove soundtrack, the Wild Style, B
Right.
Street, breaking. You see what I'm saying? That shit. I mean, and breaking was definitely dope. It had some hits on there too when you think about it. So the soundtracks was definitely dope, and actually, soundtracks was a part of some of these artists' success because if
Yep.
the album started off slow, you know, back then the industry was slick. This is how they used to get you. Um, they started doing the thing to where, okay, we want to double the sales of the artists because we see that album sales they roll, and we see that sometimes when we put out singles, they sell too. But you can't get the single. You will hear the single, but it's in rotation so heavy, but you can only get it on the album.
Right.
So what they started doing, that's when they came with putting out singles,
Yep.
and then you get this shit on the albums. You see what I'm saying? And
Yep.
then the soundtracks will help them. You know, you want a hit song on a fucking soundtrack. When you come out with that next album, everybody's gonna buy it, and it probably even boosts the sales on your previous album, no matter what the success level was. So definitely, the soundtracks was plenty dope. All the movies in the '90s, even more Better Blues, all the Spike Lee movies, those
Yep.
soundtracks dope. Every last Spike Lee joint, man, no matter what the movie was, the soundtracks was dope. No matter if it was hip hop, R&B, jazz. Prince had one of the hottest movie soundtracks, the Batman. That shit was dope. It made money. It oh my god, Lemon Crush and Scandalous and all that
Oh
shit
my
on there.
God, bro.
Oh man,
He did
yes,
the whole soundtrack. He did the
yeah.
whole soundtrack, the Batman.
Yeah. So you know the soundtracks in the '90s, man, them shits was popping. So it was really boosting artists' careers, and it did a lot to help a lot of hip hop artists too, man. Because even the ones that had like a one hit wonder, and out of a 9 album song, they only had one song that was heavy, and everything else was mediocre. But they would get some success being on a compilation movie soundtrack album, man, and it helped a lot of careers. It helped people get endorsements, and that's why we used to hear a lot of these artists, some of our favorite artists in the '90s on these soundtracks. So you know, if you ain't even like the artists like that to fuck with a whole um album or CD of his, you go check out the soundtrack because some people would just buy singles. Some people
Yep.
wasn't into listening to whole albums. So doing compilations and definitely soundtracks, if you just wanted to get a favorite song by a favorite artist, most likely it was on one of those hot soundtracks. Because I know a homie, he got more of soundtracks collections than he had more so in street albums because he's not really an album guy like that. You know, when it comes to albums, he more so would listen to like the R&B. He's into like '70s class. He listened to Stevie Wonder. You know, even though he loved hip hop, but he don't really listen to whole hip hop albums. Maybe about 5 hip hop artists tops, and he always been like that. So it was good. I mean, a lot of them had smash hit singles. Shit, shout out to Babyface, Waiting to Excel. That was a hell of
Oh
a
my, yeah.
soundtrack, man.
Man. Yes. I mean, man, all the movies, man, were like pivotal for us back then, man, because you know we up in the game and we seen, you know, what it was during the times or whatever, man. And it was just, if you had to have been there, and a lot of us, we were there, or some of us, you know, are not around to see, you know, that whole era translate. And what I was speaking about earlier, man, just like, damn, man, that was like 30 years ago. Like, time flies, man.
Right,
Like, you know
yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, the time it just fly. But let's shift it to the South, Crush. Let's talk about them Southern boys in the 90s.
Oh yeah, go ahead. DP started off, man. Go ahead, get into it because I know some of the people in the chat was waiting to get to the '90s era, especially the South. So let's go there because that was really the takeoff for the South. Was the '90s. The late '80s was the birth. But when we want to talk about the South, the '90s, because the South came in. I'm gonna just start you off real quick. Just give me like 30 seconds, bro. The South came in when the East took the shit back from the West, and the West was still hot. They go Tay-Tay, they go to Mecca, New York. She got something to say. But damn it,
man. Quee, you want to get up here on this? Quee, hey, Quee was in the thick of things. Hey, Quee, hey, I love what Quee cooked because I know she was in the thick of. That's my girl right there. So Quee can get up in on this because I know she got something to say. Because, you know, the South always got something to say. I love it.
Hey, but you got to understand where I'm coming from with Miss Tay-Tay. You know, she's from the Mecca. You know, so she like, I'm question mark. When did that happen? With respect, she's saying it. But I would say that who would we give credit to in the 90s for the birth of the takeoff of the South? Is it Outkast? Is it UGK? Is it MJ AMG? Yeah. Yep. Man, I would say, damn it. I say UGK is the Godfathers, right? But the cats that put it down for the South that made the overall impact. All right. I'm talking overall impact. No, I get it, Queen, but the 90s was the birth of the takeover that came over in the 2000s. Because you got to remember, Outkast and them came out in the 90s. And even though they was the only cats for a few years, tell you, I get what you're saying, I'm with you. But it was only maybe about 3 groups at the time. In the 90s, that was from the South for a few years up until the late 90s. And that's when they really came in, start coming in by the boatloads and leading into the 2000s when they really had the impact. So I would say Outkast and UGK, they was rocking. They was the only ones really representing. Everybody wasn't on the Dungeon Family, those guys. They was making noise where they was at. That's why when he finally came out, their success was good because the South was always showing love to one another. And even in competition, it was friendly fire because the South loves the South. No matter where you at in the South, they gonna hold it down. You know what I'm saying? And that's what they do. And so I say up until 97, 98, Tay, that's where it actually a few more artists came in from the South, because until then, you got to remember that period of time, they were the only ones that was holding the South down on the mass appeal level. You know what I'm saying? Everybody else was just sprinkling, you know, they was just starting to get out to everywhere. So, you know, the rotation was, you know, step by step, you know, you're going to hit this little town over here and everything, because what the South was doing, it would hit the quiet areas in the bigger places first, because those areas is more of the southern areas of these states and cities. So they're going to resonate with that area first. And then it started to pick it up when it transcended over to the mass appeal level, if y'all follow me. And they took off, and the South definitely, you got to say, from the 90s, because of UGK and definitely Outkast. I would never get tired of saying, when I first heard that damn song on the radio, I knew these dudes is from the South. Me, You, your mother, and your. That was the first song I heard, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? And I'm like, what the fuck is this? But not in a bad way. I'm like, hold up, what the fuck is this shit? But yo, what the fuck is this shit? This shit is hot. Hey, damn, okay, this shit different. I said, these some down south. These some motherfuckers from the south. Next thing you know, all this group Outcasts, and next thing you know, this shit took off. You know what I'm saying? It took off, and you know, Dungeon Family and everybody else came along, and that's what birthed, you know, the Gottis and all those cats out in the 2000s. But it definitely started in the 90s. The 90s, that era, it did a whole lot. It's the best era of music, hands down. Any genre of music, I don't care what you say. Exactly. We know, hey, Tay-Tay, we know that without New York, hip-hop wouldn't exist. But not New York alone. Because we was the backbone to New York. Where did y'all come to first outside the big city, the big state? Here, Philly. So, Tay-Tay. We not shitting on New York. Next time, come in on time, Tay-Tay. If you cooking, you check the playback respectfully, Tay-Tay. Had in the Alpine CD player, bumping in 91, Camry with the, yeah, Ricky. And everybody was, you had a Camry back then, you know, man, you had a Camry back then. Having a Camry was like having a fucking Benz back then, dog. The Camrys was popping.
Man.
You had your Alpine system, where you had the Bose joint, and you had every hot goddamn CD known to mankind, of music kind in the 90s, no matter if it was R&B, no matter if it was hip-hop, no matter if it was soundtracks, no matter if it was jazz, neo soul, all that shit. Yes, what's happening, Captain? Give me a few minutes now, bro. You can slip some. You can slip some on. Go get them yourself. Just picture Clyde Jack if you want to go get them. All right. Yes, go ahead.
I had an 85 Regal. I had an 85 Regal two-door, dog. Tinted windows, air shocks on the back, 2-inch white walls. Man. And I had a tape deck in my shit. Like, I used to have a tape deck because I couldn't let tapes go. I couldn't let tapes go. I translated to the CDs, but yeah, you had a tape deck. Yeah. 12-inch woofers in the back, 2 amps.
Right.
2 amps. And man, when I tell you, brother, like for me, sticking to the South, you know, we always got to give props to the Ghetto Boys. I mean, they to me, they kicked it off. They kicked it off. I mean, but if we talking 90s, man, for me, it started with UGK.
Yeah, you know, that's why I said that UGK.
That Too Hard to Swallow album, it started with UGK, man. And then, because, I mean, Pocket Full of Stones, bro, which was on the Minister Society soundtrack.
Yep.
Go back and check it. That's what kicked them off to another level. Right. Outkast came after that in 94 with Southern Player Listed Cadillac Music.
Right.
So to me, right there, 8Ball came, 93, 94. I was gravitated to the shit. I didn't care where the fuck you was from. You know, this is before the media took over and divided us. But I was gravitated to the shit. Because, you know, I was always intrigued with the South anyway. I used to visit Atlanta back and forth in the 90s, left and right. So I was always intrigued with the 90s, man. You know what I'm saying? And just the whole delivery and that no limit movement, all of that stuff. And I did think they got a fair shake. I mean, didn't get a fair shake because of, you know, what they was saying or whatever, but they were just speaking the real down there. When he got up and said the South got something to say, I was feeling that shit. Like, I don't give a fuck where you was from. The shit knocked, the shit knocked. I don't care where you from. Right. You put out some whack shit, you put out some whack shit. But if the shit knocked, you know what I'm saying? I was with it, bro. For real. I was with it. For sure.
Exactly. Yeah, the 90s is definitely dope. Keeping in the 90s, like we said, it was a lot of groups and rappers that came out, made a hell of an impact. Nas is where we left off. Oh my gosh, man. We was with Wu-Tang Clan. We talked about Biggie. We talked about Pac. Let's talk about some people from native tongue. Because if we talk about 90s hip hop, we talk about the golden era. God damn it. We ain't gonna sit here and front on native tongue. We cannot front on native tongue because they got hot in the 90s. Bruh. Tribe Called Quest.
Oh, now you're talking. Now you're talking.
Tribe
Called Quest.
Quest.
That Midnight Marauders album is one of my favorite albums.
The Quest. If you was not into the backpack era, you became a fan because of the cool vibes of MCing and the different hits and great samples of Ali Shaheed. Rest in peace, Phife Dawg, and my man Q-Tip. They had hits. Check the rhyme, y'all.
Man.
What?
Man.
Back in the days when I was a teenager. What?
Yeah,
check
bro.
The rhyme, y'all.
Yes.
Hold up. Let's go with this one. We gotta start from the beginning. Let's hit him with, and this one was crazy. It was one of the earliest joints. Y'all cannot front on I lost my wallet in El Segundo. Fuck you if you fronting. Fuck you if you fronting on I lost my wallet in El Segundo, because you know why? That got us listening to Tribe Called Quest, and that's how we ran into Bonita Applebum. You gotta put me on, huh?
Bonita Applebum, you gotta put me on.
That's what led us to Bonita Applebum. Gotta put me on. Oh, I'm gonna get the daylight. We gonna get there. Oh, we gonna get there, Ricky. We gonna get there, y'all. Oh yeah, we just starting off with the tribe. Oh yeah. We gonna get there. We got y'all covered. Man, we got y'all covered. Oh man. Hell yeah. Tribe Called Quest. Man. Bonita Applebum. Can I kick it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes,
World tour. They was coming with some shit, bro.
Electric Relaxation, bro. I still listen to that song to this day. Electric Relaxation. That's man, I'm telling you, man. Hey, I'm the boy. And then the videos they shot back then in the 90s, man, you know, it was just raw, bro. It was just raw. Everything was just raw, man. But the native tongue movement, man, Jungle Brothers, De La Soul, Black Sheep, Queen Latifah.
Number 9 on the
New York Transit line. If my train goes off the track, pick it up.
On the scene,
crispy and clean. You can try to intervene, but you can't intervene, man. Come on, bro. Don't start.
Don't play the rock.
Don't start.
Don't play the rebel. Huh? What? Oh my gosh, Ricky, don't do that to me. Blong, blong, blong. Blong, blong, blong. All right, we turning this into a fucking karaoke. 1, 2, 3, go. Here we go, yo.
Here we go, yo. So what's the scenario? Here we go. Hey, man.
Go. Hey, yo, Bo knows this. And Bo knows that.
But Bo don't know Jack, because Bo can't rap. Oh, my God. Hey, man, you're killing me right now, bro.
The batteries included and those strings attached. What? Let's get that shit.
You're killing me right now, bro.
Oh, my gosh,
you're
Ricky.
Killing me right now.
Off, Ricky. God damn it, Ricky.
Hey, Crush, don't forget the Scenario remix.
Oh, we about burn
it. Oh, my God. The Scenario remix.
Is it? What?
The Scenario remix.
Rest in peace. Rest in peace to the Hood, who kicked off the Scenario remix. He died sometime right after he finished the recording, right before it came out. So rest in peace to the Hood. Sound like he was going to have a nice career. He's going to be a part of Native Tongue. Shout out to Hood, and everybody always got to say your verse first because it jumps it off.
He kicked it off.
All other verses, it was dope.
He kicked it off.
Oh my!
Hood kicked it off, and he was gonna be a problem. He was gonna be a problem.
Man, listen, dog. Oh my goodness,
The Scenario remix was one of the greatest remixes of all time, bro.
Oh my gosh. And the first one was, we didn't even get over the first one. A year later, they come back with the what? One of the best collabos of all time, people. One of the best collabos of all time in hip-hop history. The Scenario was the motherfucker. Scenario 1 and 2.
Yes.
Was really the 2.0 of Symphony 1 and 2. I'ma say that again. Scenario 1 and 2 was the rebirth of the Symphony 1 and 2.
Hey, but did Busta Rhymes end the shit right when he said, what we gonna do in 92, even though we have fun in 91? Man, what? I'm just like, come on. Hey,
what's going on, my man? God damn, and I'm brain is kicking. Listen it, what's up? We were together, then I get them sit on shit on the double for one. What?
Hey, damn, man, that's how I go.
With a dripping up of blood coming out your nose, give me the in-pay. What you bargain for? What? Oh my gosh, what are we talking about? They tore that shit down.
They tore it down, brother.
Oh my!
That was one of the greatest remixes. That's in my top 5 remixes of all time. Seriously.
Another collabo. Oh, so now we in collabos. We just doing this thing, people, naturally. We just going on with it. We knew we was gonna mix up the different genres of the hip hop music in the 90s. Oh my God, another one. Flavor in Your Ear remix, ladies and gentlemen. Bad boy, come on to play.
Oh.
Brown niggas is mad.
Niggas get mad to get both busting ashtrays.
Nigga, come on a remix.
Fast way, ski mask way. Oh man, stop.
Oh, was that a hot ass collabo, bro?
Hell yeah.
Even Rampage held it down. Like, he stepped up to the level of competition, bro. It's one of the dopest things I ever heard Rampage say, dog.
Not from Houston, but I rap a lot.
Oh my gosh. We talk about collabos, Flavor in Your Ear remix, ladies and gentlemen.
Craig Mack.
Yes.
Hold on, Craig Mack. Craig Mack, bro.
Craig was nice, man.
Craig Mack.
Oh, I really wanted to hear more of Craig Mack. I wish Craig Mack would have got his just due for his career to blossom the way that it would. Because Craig Mack would have came with some more shit. Craig Mack was nice. Biggie. I mean, excuse me for a second. The devil. The industry devil. I will not say his name. The industry devil. He was the Floyd Mayweather of Bad Boys. He shitted on one to build the other. When there was room for both. It was room both. And actually, ladies and gentlemen, correct me if I'm wrong. Craig Mack was first. Craig Mack was there before Big. Craig was there before Big. It was enough space for the both of them. But I digress.
You're right. Craig Mack was nice, man. And I was kind of like, why didn't he get his just due? But you're talking at a time too, man, where we didn't have social media. We didn't know what was going on. And yeah, the industry devil did fuck him. You're right about that. They did fuck him, you know, and I didn't know a lot of shit was like going on back then. You was in the mix of things. You knew how the industry moved. I didn't know that. I was just a young kid just figuring out like, damn, you know, you fell off. You don't put an album out in 2-3 years, you fall off, and then you try to come back and you on a different label. But you shit on one to build up another one. But then as time go on, when you start seeing artists leaving that label, you start thinking to yourself like, something ain't right over here. But industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady. So kids watch your back because I think they smoke crack. I don't doubt it. Look at how they act.
Yeah. They probably, they do. Because there's plenty of stories when cats would be sitting there at the table with the execs and they don't give a fuck. They'd be freebasing. You having a business meeting, you got motherfuckers excuse me, what we had planned for you. What the fuck? Then you got another motherfucker that's over there got lines, look like it's lines of sugar and shit, like he just gonna take the lines of sugar and put them in his coffee cup. This motherfucker take a straw, a dollar bill, or just don't give a fuck. Dressed up with a suit and all that, and say, we finally finalized the cover for your album, and we was thinking that we'll come out with a date. We'll set the date for next month. We'll start putting a promo on. We just sent copies out to the radio stations and everything, and and shit be dripping off their nose. Like, what the fuck? Right. That's why he said that, because them motherfuckers being there getting high. Why are they supposed to be conducting business? But he got a nerve to try to expose the urban cities and all the addicts there, when actually the worst addicts are the ones who can afford it the most. I'm going to say that again. The worst addicts is the ones who can afford to pay it. They just more functional. But that don't make them any better than the ones who got to do shit to get it. Trust me. High? Oh, high does get higher when it's done on a higher level. Yeah. Regular crackhead that's living in, public housing, Section 8, all that shit don't work, this, that, and the other. The ones who can afford it, they worse. They just have more. They have a roof over their head. They got enough to get as high as they want and still maintain to take care of their bills, or they have someone do that, like some of them had. Some of these motherfuckers never paid their bills. They go out and do their job to have that luxury life and be able to get high the way that they want to. But trust me, a rich crackhead, a rich crack addict, a wealthy crack addict, a wealthy cokehead is worth than an urban city poor, working paycheck person who has a drug addiction. It ain't hard to tell. It ain't hard to tell, huh? Where we at, DP? It ain't hard to tell. Addict, then Prevail, huh? See, we just went back to 90's. It ain't hard to tell. We seen it, people. We seen it. But damn, the 90's has it's dope. We're gonna have to do a continuation. So we're gonna do part 2 of the 90's next week, DP, because we got a lot more to cover, because we almost at the 2-hour mark, bro. So before we go, we're gonna
Crush, let me lead off with this. Let's do it to part 2 next week. Let's do this. Let's do this. It just popped in my head. So we're gonna do a part 2 next week, and we're gonna marinate this through the week.
Okay.
90's hip hop sitcoms.
All right, cool. We'll add that on to it. All right, but before we close out, I want to go back. I didn't want to miss what Ricky put down, because when we started going to collabos, we'll start off the show with the continuation of the collabos, and then we'll go into that. So we're gonna have a dope show. Thank you, Ricky. Thank you. But
thanks, Rick.
He
and
said,
y'all more than welcome to come up, man, and holler at us, man. For real, we love impact, man.
Y'all feel like it. So he came up with the collabo. Slow down, baby. Slow down, baby. EPMD and LL Cool J, Rampage, one of the dopest collabos, my guys. Shout out to Eric and Paris making dollars, and of course, the GOAT of all goats, ladies and gentlemen, in hip hop is no other than LL Cool J. The GOAT of all goats is LL Cool J.
And one of them L stands for longevity.
Exactly. And so many other things. But look, y'all, this is our time on the ColdCrush Lounge with the ColdCrush brothers, myself, Crush the Legend, and my bro, DP Rocker, knock you right out your socks. Thank you for tuning in to this Saturday's ColdCrush Lounge with the ColdCrush brothers, brought to you by TWT. So if you haven't checked it out, go over to the website. What you waiting for, buddy? Check us out, www.t-wtag-t.com. Join the family and make sure you subscribe to all the family. We putting out good content. Y'all know about Ricky, you know about Queen, you know about G5, you know about T, you know about the voice Just Do, you know about the family. So if you subscribe, get someone else to subscribe. And with that being said, we out of here. Until later on today, we see y'all over at the marathon with Just Do or even Southern T. Y'all have a great Saturday. We appreciate y'all coming through and kicking it. Everybody in here is family. So for myself, DP Rocker, TWT, Emma LDBC folks, this is Crush the Legend, Mr. PSA, the hip hop historian, the motherfucking boxing knowledge Grinch. And also my brother DP Rocker, Mr. Knock You Right Out Your Socks. Give yourself applause. Throw a flame up for y'all. Y'all made it hot because without y'all, we ain't going to be able to cook. So with that being said, we out here and we see y'all later. Have a blessed one. TWT, I move the bloop out the way. We out of here. Peace, y'all.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good shit.